The Sheep Detectives, released May 8th, 2026, is a film revolving around a cast of sheep who take on the duty of trying to solve a mystery. A movie I had originally chalked up to being a predictable, overly childish film turns out to be the Wizard's movie of the year.
Oh my God. I get it.
I'm Tom the Wizard Man, and this is the Fake Wizards review of The Sheep Detectives. If this video brings you any value, please hit the like and subscribe button, as we're making many reviews every single week. Now, my introductory statement was not hyperbolic. This currently is the Fake Wizards movie of the year, and granted, it's May. There's still a lot of movies on the horizons, but as it is, this is a special film. To put it simply, The Sheep Detectives is a perfect film. It's not something that deserves every award imaginable. It's not an Oscar sweeper. It is an extremely well-made, competent movie. I don't have any issues with it. I only have nice things to say about it. The story is about a flock of sheep being taken care of by their shepherd George, played by Hugh Jackman. The sheep live happy lives as George cares for them by feeding, shearing, medicating, and reading to the sheep, specifically crime novels. It's an action he does every night, which almost all of the sheep are in attendance of. However, the morning after their nightly reading, the sheep come to discover that George is dead. And from eavesdropping on the officer, they believe that George was murdered. Inspired by George's crime novels, the sheep Lily, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Mopple, played by Chris O'Dowd, set out to investigate. They come across the suspects, including the butcher, a fellow shepherd, the innkeeper, the priest, and a lost relative. The sheep use the lessons learned from the crime novels to try and aid the local officer in solving George's murder. What makes this movie work is that the sheep are sheep. In other family media, when you have talking animals, they'll often have the animals be as smart as the people, which makes the animals feel like they're just people. The only degree of separation is their physicality. The sheep in this have the understanding of a sheep. They don't have a full framework for how the world actually works. There's a moment where Lily and Mopple have to cross a road, and they're confused as to what the road is, or even if they can walk on it. They've only walked on dirt and grass, so the phenomenon of a solid road is completely new to them. It's a very simple thing that's done so well because having the sheep have an unrealized interpretation of reality opens the plot up to more than just solving George's murder. It allows it to go into how the sheep treat each other, what happens in other fields, and how they perceive death. All of this may sound kind of basic, but it's done in such a satisfying and efficient way that I can't not commend it. This story is a murder mystery, and it's a well-written one. They did a good job at setting up the whole whodunit aspect, as I personally didn't know who the killer was going to be. They establish each suspect to have some sense of motivation as to why they'd want to kill George. Officer Derry, played by Nicholas Braun, is portrayed as a simple, awkward officer who's way in over his head, which they play for comedic effect, but they also give him the chance throughout the movie to prove his intelligence. Yes, he did need help from the sheep to solve the murder, but ultimately, he was able to properly solve it. In other films and stories, this character would be a bumbling fool throughout the entire film. There'd be no arc, it would just be, hey, look at this idiot. The performances in this movie are also great. All of the human characters in Sheep did a great job. This movie didn't fall into the pitfall of celebrity voice acting that other films do. You know, when they hire an actor to voice a character, but you can only hear the actor because they don't really have a character. The whole purpose of it is more of just a wink nod at the screen to be like, yeah, we have Patrick Stewart and he's playing the poop emoji. This movie doesn't have that. Patrick Stewart plays a sheep. Julia Louis-Dreyfus plays a sheep. Bryan Cranston plays a sheep. You may be able to recognize the voice of the character, but it's still a character you're able to believe is a character. From a visual standpoint, the movie's great. The sheep look like animals, but are animated to be expressive, where you're able to see the emotions of the characters talking. They play into it for comedic bits, and I found them funny. This movie is the epitome of something that you'd watch with your grandmother, if that makes sense. I don't think this movie is better than the Paddington films. However, this movie is in the same caliber and tier as the Paddington films. It's a sincere movie with a lot of heart. There's no wink, nod, nudges to the audience, no fourth wall breaks to take you out of the film. It's a well-made story with emotional moments that it earned. I've seen people put online that it made them cry. I wouldn't blame you if you did. In a landscape of mediocre, cookie-cutter slop media, having a movie like this was not only a surprise, but a reminder that there is no reason for a movie or a show to be bad. Most of this review, I refer to how elements of this film were done better in this than in other films, and that's because of how often movies fall into the same pit traps. Multiple times this year, I have walked out of a theater and went, that should have been good. That should have been an easy dunk. That should have been a good movie. Competent storytelling used to be the bare minimum, so now anything that's remotely competent is immediately praised. For The Sheep Detectives, I remember saying this movie has no right to be this good. But in actuality, the medium has settled into such a state of slop that the statement should have been, other movies have no right to be that bad. This movie should make you mad about everything that's coming out. This movie should make you want the film industry to improve and create better films. I feel crazy talking about it like this because it's The Sheep Detectives. Like, what are we doing? Sheep Detectives gets a 10 out of 10. If you like the Paddington films, you will like this movie. Bring your partner, bring your kid, bring your grandma, bring anybody, go watch this movie. If this video gave you any value at all, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.